What up, y'all? Welcome to Sticks and Politics. We're going to be talking about something today. I seen online Candace Owens, one of my favorite female journalists, I would call her. I think she is. Podcast females, whatever. I think she's a genius. I love Candace Owens. But anyway, what we're talking about today is the vaccination and the fact that jobs are now actually trying to require people get vaccinated or they'll lose their jobs. And also, Joe Biden, he made a comment that it's vaxxed or masked. And if you don't get the vax, that you will ultimately pay the price. So, I mean, I'm wondering what this price is that he is referring to. Is he going to deploy soldiers to the neighborhoods to force it? And then if they aren't able to force it, are they going to drag said people out in the middle of the street and burn them alive in the middle of the street in front of their children? What is this price that we're supposed to be paying? Well, he don't really specify, but he leaves you to speculate. And with a man in his power, I kind of wonder what that price really is going to be. Because typically Democrats, whenever they have this much power and they start making threats, they typically mean threats of violence. I mean, we could take last year as a prime example. No Republican rioted or took to the streets. It was only Democrats and liberals, the blue-haired hippies, I guess you could say, that decided that a convict like George Floyd, who had dangerous doses of fentanyl and heroin in his fucking system during the time of arrest, which I don't know about y'all, I don't know too many heroin addicts who act logical. So that's neither here nor there. But what we're talking about today is what Candace Owens touched on, and that is your employer wanting to force you to take the vaccination. And I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you exactly what you should do, because let's face facts. I'm just like you. I'm not the brightest motherfucker in the world. I'm not claiming to be the brightest motherfucker in the world. But what I am is a grown-ass man who served his country and earned my rights to make any medical decision that I really want to make. And I can make it on my own, because I'm an adult and I'm logical and I have a fucking brain in my head. So I shouldn't have to be taking this shit. But anyway, I'm going to be putting a link down into the description below so that way you can actually go and watch the Candace Owens podcast or episode, whatever you want to call it. But you can actually go there and listen to her and listen to a fucking genius guide you on what you should be doing, because let's face facts, she is smarter than I am. So the link's going to be in the description below. Make sure you click on that and make sure you absolutely watch it. It's toward the end where she starts giving you advice. She touched bases on a whole bunch of different things pertaining to this one incident, or this one instance of jobs trying to forcefully make people take the vaccine. Which I will tell you that if your employer sends you an email, which they're probably going to do, or they send out letters, which a lot of people do. If you're not someone who comes into contact with a computer at work, they'll be sending you a letter basically demanding that you take the vax, or you'll lose your fucking job. So what I will say is make your stance known that you will not take the vax. It's not the factor that you do not want to take the vaccination. You shouldn't have to have a reason as to why you're not going to put a drug into your body, because you're an adult and you can decide on what drugs you want to take and what drugs you don't want to take. That's one of the great miracles of America, is the fact that we have freedoms, and medical freedoms is a part of those freedoms. But so whenever they send you these letters or these emails, if you're someone who's smarter than I am and you actually have a good job, which I mean, I don't have a terrible job, but still, one of these jobs is talking to y'all. But as soon as you get this letter, as soon as you get this email, you need to immediately talk to your HR person, your human resources officer, whatever you have, whoever handles your human resource concerns. You need to immediately talk to them and let them know, hey, this is violating my rights as an American citizen, and I'm not going to stand for it, and I will not be taking it. Do not quit your job, because this stuff is definitely, it's heading this direction. You're going to end up getting a letter. I don't care who you are. Even I've gotten a letter at my job talking about the mask thing, to where you sign it and they'll require you to wear the mask, and if you don't wear the mask, they'll want the medical records that you got your shots. So, I mean, I signed the paper, but I also marked out the part where they could require my medical records. So, the paperwork I turned in was altered, which would make it non-binding immediately, non-binding. So, but I made sure that I played their little game and signed the sheet that they wanted me to sign, but also made it to where it does not say that they can ask me for any medical records, because I'm sorry, but you're not asking me for any fucking thing as far as my goddamn medical records. Bitch, you can fire me. I will get unemployment and I will get benefits from you. And then whenever it goes to the Supreme Court, which it will, I will hop on the lawsuit train, and I'll ride that to payday. But anyway, so make sure you make your views and your rights very, very clear, because no one can force you to take a drug that you do not want to take. They cannot just, I mean, you can't even go to the hospital and then prescribe you something without you signing a fucking release form first. So don't sign these forms. Don't agree to this shit. Fight it. And if it costs you your job, it costs you your job. I mean, just make some preparations to where you're financially you're secure. Which, I mean, I don't have to worry about that, because I mean, I get benefits. So I mean, it's kind of good that I do that and I have that security, but not everybody does have that security. So what I really want y'all to do is try to start putting back some shit, so that way if you do lose your job for 3 or 4 months, however long it'll be, you'll have a safety net, and you'll have something to help you and your family out if you do lose your job. I mean, it's just, we don't want that to happen. I mean, no one wants someone's financial stability to suddenly disappear, except for a Democrat and a liberal. So I mean, we have to stand together, and we cannot, if you're a conservative at your job and you know other conservatives, don't make the stance by yourself. I recommend that you and your other conservative friends at work, you get together and you collectively stand together whenever they respond to this. How about we do this? How about, instead of just one of you calling at a time, how about all of y'all get together and you call them at the exact same time on speakerphone, so that way you have everyone around saying, hey bro, look, let's say there's 15 of us. We're not going to do this. There's 20 of us. We're not going to do this, dude. You can't force us. They're less adamant to want to fire you when they know they're about to lose a big chunk of their employees. Because we have places out here willing to give $5,000 sign-on bonuses for you to even apply for the job and get the job. So if they're willing to pay this much just to try to pull people into the door, you know what that lets you know? There's not too many people wanting to work with all the stimulus checks and everything that's going out and all this other junk. Nobody really wants to work. Not too many people do anyway. So, I mean, you could use that also to your advantage. They're not going to find no one real quick. Yeah, they can replace 1 or 2 or 3 people, but when you start getting up into 10, 15, 20 people, it's a little bit hard to replace 20 people in one day. And for a business to completely lose all of its workers or half of its workers for an entire day or an entire week, that's a blow, man. That's a huge blow. Because these companies, a lot of these companies, man, they're struggling just like we are. And they're not trying to have 20 of their employees quit all on the same day. They're not trying to have 20 of their employees sit there and tell them, hey, you know what, you go fuck yourself, because there's nothing you can do about this, because legally they don't have no right to require you to take a fucking vaccination. They don't have no right to require that you consume a fucking drug on their time schedule or on their clock or anything like that. They can't demand any of that shit. It's unconstitutional. It violates your rights as a human being and as an American, quite frankly. Because let's be real, human beings and Americans are not the same. We don't look at it the same. That's just not how it is. We put our country and our citizens above anything else. And if you don't think that that's how we should be, then you're not American and you don't believe in this Constitution. And quite frankly, you don't believe in this country. You shouldn't be here. Because whenever it comes to my fellow American, I'll take a bullet for my fellow American. I was willing to take a bullet for my fellow American. That's the reason why I served. But for these Democrats and these liberals and all these other stuff, I'm not willing to do anything for you, just like you're not willing to do anything for me. You want to violate my rights? Well, guess what? We're not going to violate yours. You have no gain, no control, no foothold on anything that you're talking about. Joe Biden sat there and said, if you do not take the vax, you will pay the ultimate price. Bro, I really wished you would. I really wish you would, because I bet your coward ass is going to hide behind a desk somewhere and you'll mandate it. Which it won't fucking fly because it'll end up going to the Supreme Court and it'll be found to violate constitutional rights. So your dumbass just basically made a threat that you can't uphold. But anyway, I hope that y'all enjoyed this episode of Sticks and Politics, and I know that this is a little bit shorter than what we're going to be doing as far as my video goes. I like my videos to be from anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. And the reason why that being is because as much as I've sat here and I've talked to you, I'm not an educated person. I love that y'all sit here and y'all watch me and stuff. And I know that my group is kind of small right now, but we will grow over time. Because, I mean, let's face facts. I had a real big following on Facebook. And, well, let's see here. Because I sat there and I stated that I do not support the vax. I will not get vaxxed. I do not like Joe Biden and my political views. They have since deleted all of my videos and all of my Facebook content. So, I mean, I had to start over from scratch. 10 years worth of work just completely flushed down the drain because of liberal views. But that's the world that we live in. They're silencing us and they're telling us that we're not allowed to have opinions. We're not allowed to have rights. We're not allowed to privacy. We're not allowed to none of this. So I think that we need to come together, people who share our ideology and our think patterns and our thought process. We need to all come together and support each other, especially in times like these, because we are being silenced. We are being told to shut the fuck up. If you're white and conservative, you do not have no rights. So all of us need to come together, support people like me, support my other YouTubers and influencers who are conservative, who have been canceled through this process. And I promise you, we will come out on top, just like we always do. We're the ones who built America. We're the ones who made America great. No black people are Democrat or liberal. And if they are, they have been brainwashed. And that's just the bottom line. They've been brainwashed. Democrats fought for slavery. Democrats did not want slavery to end. Democrats are the reason why Juneteenth exists. Back whenever Jim Crow first come up, they did not want the Emancipation Proclamation. After the Emancipation Proclamation happened, 2 years after it in Texas, they still had slaves. It took them 2 years to end slaves. These were Democrats that was doing this. Evil ass Democrats that was doing this. This was not Republicans who lied to slaves and kept them in shackles and chains and beat and raped and molested and tortured and burned them while they were still alive. And then while they were screaming, cut their fucking ears off with butter knives. This is stuff Democrats did. This is stuff that Democrats have always done. Democrats operate through fear. And you're seeing this now from Joe Biden's speeches and everything that he's putting out, all the rhetoric that he's coming out with. He's a stumbling, bumbling moron with memory problems. And somehow he's leading this country. So we all need to stand together. All my conservative friends, I love y'all. I hope God blesses y'all, and I hope that he sends y'all many, many comforts. And I hope that you don't have to go through any problems, but let's prepare for the worst and let's stand together. Thank y'all for watching Sticks and Politics. Y'all have a good day. God bless. Peace.